Greetings to all of you, my dear sisters and brothers, and my dear friends. A warm welcome to all of you from your Pastor Yeti. When a woman meets Jesus, it's on our Saturday, finding the love every woman longs for. And today we're going to talk about the hopeless woman. Soon after Jesus went to a town called Nain, and his disciples and a great throng accompanied him. Just as he drew near the gate of the town, behold, a man who had died was being carried out, the only son of his mother. And she was a widow, and a large gathering from the town was accompanying her. And when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her and said to her, "Do not weep." There are days we never forget, a wedding day, the day of a child is born, and the day someone who loved dies. The scriptures reading for today is from Luke 7, the verses 11 to 13. She could not believe that the doctors told her. They said her husband would die. He was too young and they had plans. They had a child to raise. She never thought she would be handling things alone. But the doctors were right. Her husband passed away. And now she was a single mom raising a son. Grief consumed her days, fear her nights. It was difficult to focus. Each day, she went through the motions of getting up, getting dressed, and prepared breakfast. It was a dull routine, but a routine she could handle. She tried to hide her tears from her son, for he also missed his dad. The last thing she wanted to do was upset his world any more than it had been. But just as life was beginning to get back to normal, disaster struck again. Her boy became sick, and the unthinkable happened. The widow's only child also died. Now the house was empty. Friends came around to try and cheer her up, but their efforts were useless. Why should she even get up in the morning, grab another hanky? The tears were flowing again. When her husband died, she had forced herself to survive for her son's sake. Now, with her boy gone, life was worth nothing. All hope was gone. The sound of wailing outside her door served as an abrupt reminder that she must leave with the mourners. They were going to follow the makeshift stretcher bearing the body of her dead child. It was a sad, slow-moving procession that headed down the dusty street toward the city gate to the burial grounds outside the city. But all at once the funeral cortege stopped. On this particular day, if you were to read the evening newspaper in Nain, the headline would go something like this: "Party crowd runs into pall bearers. The man who puts hope in your heart." This was a great day for Jesus. The crippled could walk, the dumb could speak, the deaf could hear, the blind could see. As the noisy multitude surrounding Jesus moved toward the city of Nain, coming in the opposite direction was a weeping crowd of town folk. It looked as though the entire community had turned out to support a distraught widow who had lost her only child. There were two groups of people going in opposite direction, acting in two different ways. The party crowd and the pall bearers, running headlong into each other. And standing right in between them was Jesus. Life on one side, death on the other. Hope was fueling the fire on one side, while hopelessness was blowing out the fire on the other. Jesus began to move toward the funeral bier and the body of a lifeless boy. His voice broke the silence of the moment. "Young man, I say to you, arise." And that was all. And what happened? The man who was dead sat up and began to speak. But the story isn't over. This is the part I love the most. Luke wrote, and Jesus gave him back to his mother. Needless to say, that one act brought an abrupt halt to the funeral. Life and death had come face to face. The funeral procession would join the party crowd. And when Jesus came to town, he didn't just give a widow back the son she needed. He rekindled the fire of hope in her heart and in your heart and mind. Our need is his response. If the pain of losing a dear one hangs over you like a dark cloud, making each day difficult to face, the man who brought hope to a grieving widow wants to put hope back in your heart. On that day in Nain, Jesus lit a candle of hope in the heart of every mom, every dad, every brother and every sister who ever lived. When he gave a hopeless widow back her son, he sent you a message that he will give you back your loved one as well. Jesus wants hope to serve as our magnifying glass, allowing us to see clearly when the pain of life blurs reality beyond recognition. Hope feeds my soul as bread feeds my body. It nourishes me and gives me the strength to see past the harsh reality of life. Hope may seem to some like the expectation of pie in the sky when we die, so that the everyday world with its human constituents and its intractable problems dwells in this insignificance. But hope is not blind or insensitive. Hope is a choice. When we have hope, some of the pain of a circumstance is less, because we are looking beyond the situation to what will happen in the future. When the sting of death pierces your heart, you can find comfort in these words. He will swallow up death in victory. He will abolish death forever, and the Lord God will wipe away tears from off all our faces. This assurance transforms the hopeless into the hopeful. Death will not win. Jesus made sure of it. Affirmation I will give to you. Blessed is the woman, and I also say the man, the brother, the sister, the dad, the mother, the grandmother, the grandfather, who believes in, trusts in, and relies on the Lord, and whose hope and confidence the Lord is. My beautiful people, talking about this issue, what happened to this widow. It's not simply speaking out these words to all of you. It is really the reality of our life. But Jesus wants to give us hope. And maybe you say, well, that boy came back to life. Mine didn't. Life and death are a mystery. But our life is given in the hands and the power of Jesus Christ, who rose from the dead. And we have life. When our life comes to end, this earthly life, this has no end. And God take care of you. And He will do that. Trust in the Lord, my dear ones. Trust in Him. And when hope is narrow, hold on to that narrow hope. Because God does not disappear. He is there all the time, that He will comfort you. Blessings to all of you, my dear ones. I wish you a very blessed weekend. A weekend with joy and hope and love and a blessing. Meeting your brothers and sisters when you go to church, wherever it is, on the Saturday evening, on the Sundays. May you be blessed. We're here for when a woman meets Jesus. We meet again on the next Saturday. And for the rest of our meditations and studies, we hear each other on Monday. Blessings to all of you. I love you guys. This is your Pastor Yeti. Bye.